Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy Walls P, and today we got a very controversial topic. If it is your first time here, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking that notification bell so you could be alerted on new content. So what do I mean by a controversial topic? Police interaction. See, those of us in the black community, we strongly believe and we strongly feel that police interaction against blacks is completely different as opposed to our white counterparts, our Asian counterparts, and our Latino counterparts. We feel like we're the most victimized people when it comes to police interaction. And one of the biggest talking points that a lot of people, especially in the black community, like to make is Dylan Roof, the man that killed them people in the church because of his different ideologies. When police showed up to arrest him, the man surrendered, boom, they arrested him, even took him to Burger King. But then when you have a situation like Jaleel Starling, who was an Army vet, there was a Black Lives Matter protest and police pulled up on Mr. Starling in an unmarked vehicle. When they pulled up on him, they shot him with rubber bullets. He thought he was being attacked by white supremacists. He had his gun, he fired at him, he realized they were police officers, he surrendered, dropped to his knees. The police then ran out on him and his buddy, beat him up, tased them, and then detained them. That's a discrepancy where you have somebody that surrender and you still attack them. So again, a lot of people in the black community, we feel there's a huge discrepancy when it comes to police interaction. But then I had to stop and think, is this really true in all cases? Is it really that black people are treated the worst when it comes to police interactions? Because let's face it, none of us really look up this stuff. I mean, there's people that do, but the average person, nobody's looking up these things. So your boy right here basically did that for you. So we all remember the most egregious killing of George Floyd, right? Screaming, "I can't breathe," knee on his neck for over 5 minutes. Definitely an egregious action by those police officers. But what if I told you 2 months prior, March 30th, 2020, a 38-year-old man by the name of Edward Bronstein died in police hands in the same fashion, and he screamed, "I can't breathe," over 10 times. Check it out.
Our top story, a man taken into custody by CHP officers ends up dead after yelling, "I can't breathe," 12 times.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
This happened in Altadena 2 years ago before the infamous George Floyd video where he yells, "I can't breathe." This video was sealed until today.
Yeah, it actually took a judge's order to get this video released, going against California State Attorney General, who's had it sealed pending the investigations. And I want to reiterate, it's difficult to watch. It's really difficult to listen to, but the family wants the public to see this. So let's show you what we got. After being arrested for DUI, which allows officers to take blood forcefully with a warrant if he refuses a breathalyzer or giving blood, which he seemingly had.
This is your last opportunity. Otherwise, you're going face down on the mat, and we're going to keep on going.
He starts to say, "I can't breathe." He starts to say, "I will willingly take the test now. I will willingly give the blood."
The man's family clutching his photo as attorneys narrate the video.
He says, "I can't breathe." 12 times is what I counted.
2 minutes after they start applying body weight to his back is when he stops breathing.
Are you gonna see? Hey, are you gonna see?
No audible response from Bronstein.
2.5 minutes into the altercation is when they start testing his blood. You can see them start taking a pulse, and there's no pulse.
Edward.
Wake him up.
It's not till another minute passes, while they're still drawing blood, that you hear officers.
You got a syringe?
Sure you got a pulse on him.
3 minutes later, they put a Band-Aid on the draw spot and then turn him over.
Lift his head up. Get his airway open.
No response from Bronstein.
Where's CPR? Where's first aid? When they finally flip him over, he's lifeless. He's dead. He's cold. He's blue.
He at least deserved a chance to have CPR done, to be treated like a human. He was treated like trash.
Now I get it. In the case of George Floyd, you had people out there with their cell phones, so of course it made national news. But once the media caught wind of this case, why did it not make national news? See, to that family, they could be looking at a George Floyd situation with resentment, because here they had somebody that went through the same exact thing and they didn't get the publicity or they didn't get the national coverage like George Floyd did. What about a case of mistaken identity? A lot of people always say, oh, all black folks look alike, right?
And most men don't start making grown-up decisions till they actually get older. Because
hold on, sorry.
Okay.
Spartacus. He keeps calling you strategic.
Yo, I guess it goes, all black men look the same, huh?
No, it's a bald head, but I'm just saying. At first, I'm like, strategic still here?
Yeah, that's what, I saw a strategic comment too, and I was like, where's strategic at? I'm scrolling like, what does strategic say?
You like, that's right, strategic. I was like, damn, I want to know what he's saying. He got to be boss in the chat. And one of us out. You done shot strategic out 14 times. I'm going to have to kick him out my chat. He's still in the damn show.
Blacks go through a lot of situations of you fit a profile, you fit a description, and wind up being detained. But does that only happen to us? Absolutely not. Here's 2 scenarios handled the same exact way. Check it out.
Is Shane Brown. And this is Shane Brown. The 2 men sharing the same name, but as you can see, they look very different. Shane Lee Brown is black and in his early 20s. Shane Neil Brown is white and in his late 40s. A lawsuit filed in federal court says Henderson police arrested this Shane Brown during a traffic stop in 2020. They ran his name, finding a warrant for a gun charge, and taking him here to the Henderson Detention Center. The younger Shane Brown told officers they had the wrong guy, but he remained in jail for 2 days. The lawsuit saying during his unlawful detention, Shane Lee Brown repeatedly explained to numerous unknown Henderson police officers and supervisors that he was not the 49-year-old white Shane Brown who was the subject of the felony warrant. The younger Shane Brown was then transferred here to the Clark County Detention Center, awaiting a court appearance. The lawsuit saying, at CCDC, Shane Lee Brown once again explained to numerous unknown LVMPD officers and supervisors that he was not the Shane Brown named on the felony bench warrant. That Shane Brown, the older white one, was arrested 2 months earlier. The jail had this booking photo in its records. On day 6, the younger Shane Brown finally had his day in court.
The Shane Brown that is in custody on this case number is a younger black male. The Shane Brown, who is the defendant in our case, has a separate ID number, and he is a 49-year-old white male.
A public defender comparing the 2 booking photos, realizing the wrong Shane Brown was in custody. A judge then immediately ordering his release.
And maybe put a note that they had arrested the wrong person on there so the jail understands it needs to be done right away.
Bethany K. Farber, accompanied by her legal team, has filed a lawsuit against the LAPD and LAX police. She claims she was jailed for 13 days for having the same name as another Bethany Farber. Farber's ordeal began last April. She was on her way to Mexico to visit family when TSA told her there was a warrant out for her arrest. According to her legal team, the TSA turned Farber over to LAX police, who then turned her over to the LAPD.
The police do nothing to confirm whether or not this Bethany Farber is that Bethany Farber. This Bethany Farber already has a criminal history. Her fingerprints are in the database.
I asked them repeatedly to double check, and they completely blew me off. They said, nope, Bethany Farber, we have you.
Farber's family says after sending phone records and a photo to law enforcement and the district attorney handling the case in Texas.
And she said, oh my God, we are so sorry.
The LAPD and LAX police told us they do not comment on pending litigation.
Again, we're seeing it's not just us. Same exact situation, but a different group of people. How about the unarmed killings of blacks? I'll look at a situation like Rashard Brooks, who got into a tussle with the police officers, took the police officer's taser, was running away from the police officer, and he was shot and killed. Now, with that being said, he did point the taser at the police officers as he was running away to shoot it at them. But at the end of the day, the argument is it's not a lethal weapon. All right, fine. Let's look at it as he was unarmed and he got killed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Michael Davis. Michael Davis is a former police sergeant who killed an unarmed 17-year-old by the name of Hunter Brittain, or Hunter Brittain. If I'm butchering it, please let me know in the comment section, but that 17-year-old was a Caucasian kid. Check it out.
On Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021, Arkansas State Police was requested to investigate an officer-involved shooting at 7180 State Highway 89 South in Cabot. After reviewing Davis's body camera footage, it was determined that his camera was not activated until after the shot was fired. Davis says before he could put his vehicle in park, he heard the truck's engine rev up and then began to travel southbound in the northbound lane. Davis did not notify dispatch on the radio that he was in pursuit because he realized the truck was attempting to turn left into Mahoney's body shop. He indicated before he could get his patrol vehicle in park, Britton opened his door and quickly exited the vehicle. Davis observed that Britton slipped on the gravel as he was moving quickly towards the rear of the truck. He alleges he gave several commands, but Britton did not comply with his commands to get back in the truck. Davis observed the truck rolling backwards towards his patrol vehicle. He continued, he alleges, to give commands instructing Britton to show his hands and to stop. Davis said Britton began reaching with both hands into the bed of the truck. He indicated that as Britton began to bring his hands from the bed of the truck, he discharged his weapon one time towards Britton. Davis says as he observed the bullet strike Britton, a container came from Britton's hands that originated from the bed of the truck. The container landed on the ground. During the interview, Davis was asked to clarify if he could see Britton's hands or see what was in Britton's hands prior to discharging his county-issued firearm. Davis replied he could not see Britton's hands nor what was in his hands prior to discharging his county-issued firearm. During an interview with Jordan King, he stated he was the passenger. King says as they were getting pulled over by the deputy, they were laughing and thought it was funny because the truck was smoking and that Britton was trying to get off the highway. King says as they stopped in the parking lot, both of them opened their doors to let the smoke out. King said that Britton immediately stepped out of the truck, went to the rear of the truck, and King heard a gunshot. King said that he never heard anyone say, "Show me your hands," or words similar to that before hearing the gunshot. There was no evidence of firearms located in or around Britton's truck. This is the affidavit that was presented this morning, and the warrant was issued by Judge Elmore.
If you ask me, this situation was even worse because he never had no interaction with the police, he never tussled with them, but yet he still was shot and killed. And a lot of people in the black community tend to say, oh, if it was a white person, this wouldn't have happened. Clearly, it can happen. And it did happen. What about the video that we covered on the channel on Owens Bigsby, the paraplegic who police officers dragged out of his vehicle and put him into custody? And again, the going theme was, if this was a white person, an Asian person, a Latino person, this would have never had happened. Well, what if I told you there was a Caucasian woman who was resisting arrest and the police manhandled her? I'm talking choking her, kicking her, tasing her, kneeing her, the whole 9 yards to get her in the back of a police vehicle. Now, I'm not gonna play the video because YouTube will definitely shut this bad boy down, but if you wanna see it, click this card right here. Very interesting video on how the police handled this Caucasian woman. Remember the whole news coverage and killing of Gabby Petito? A lot of people in the black community were like, why is all this media coverage on this white girl? And there's black girls who come up missing all the time and wind up dead. Well, let me ask you this. That family who didn't get the coverage that George Floyd did, and they're seeing George Floyd plastered all over the news, massive media coverage. But this family that's grieving for their father, their loved one, they got no media coverage whatsoever. How do you think that family feels? You got Caucasian people who they're mistreated by the police, they're manhandled, they're assaulted, the whole nine. But what do we see as far as media coverage? Black people that are getting assaulted, unarmed blacks who are getting shot. No media coverage for them. The bottom line is, if you're not willing to take the time to understand what I go through, why would I take the time to want to understand what you go through? Because at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter by the color, what race, ethnicity. Trying to understand each other's plight is the best thing for society. If I'm going through a personal situation and you don't show no sign to give a damn about what I'm going through and you're worried about yourself, why would I then care about what you're going through? And that's the same on the opposite spectrum. If I don't care about what this person is going through, and then when I'm in a time of need, I expect them to understand what I'm going through, why in the hell would that person take the time to try and understand what I'm going through if I didn't take the time to try and understand what they were going through? The bottom line is this: stop playing that victimhood and thinking that only blacks go through these circumstances, because it's not the case. Other people and other nationalities also go through the same circumstances. The difference is it's not plastered on social media the way we are. Now, am I saying that it's even kill all across the board? No, of course not. Because when I looked up Caucasian people being arrested while banking, I couldn't find anything on that. The only people I found that get arrested or detained or troubled while banking because they're trying to withdraw or cash a large check is black people. So by no means am I saying No, black people don't go through some crazy situations when it comes to law enforcement. But just to think that it only happens to us, that's not the case. That is so untrue. And for those voices that do want to hear their voices heard, but they're not getting that attention, it can be deflating to them people. So I hope this kind of make you look at things in a different light a bit. Put all that BS aside, race, color, creed, because at the end of the day, that's what the higher ups want. They want us down each other's throat because it's easier to conquer when everybody's divided. Stop relying on victimhood and let's start building back our communities, networking, and reinvest in our communities. This way we can make it better for all of us all around. That's gonna do it for this episode of Matter of Opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section because I would love to hear your take on this one. Once again, if this is your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking that notification bell so that you could be alerted for more content like this. And definitely smash that like button and share it on all your social media platforms. And if you want to join us on our Facebook group, our locals, and our Discord, all the links are in the description. That's gonna do it for this episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy Walls P, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
It's a matter of opinion.